Twice the brided cat hath mewed.
Thrice and once the hedge-pig whined.
Harpier cries, 'tis time, 'tis time.
Round about the cauldron go, in thou poisoned entrails throw, told that under cold stone days and nights hath sturdy one, swallowed her venom, sleeping got, boil thou first in charmed pot. Double, oil, trouble, fire, burn, and cauldron bubble.
Fillet of fenny snake, in the cauldron boil and bake. Eye of newt and toe of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog, lizard's leg and owl's wing, adder's fork and blind worm's sting, for a charm of powerful trouble, like a hell broth boil and bubble. Double, boil and trouble,
Fire,
burn, and cauldron bubble.
Scale of dragon, tooth of wolf, witch's mummy, mine, gulf of the raven, salt seed shark, root of hemlock, dig it in the dark, liver of blaspheming Jew, gall of goat and slips of yew, silvered in the moon's eclipse, nose of Turk and Tartar's lips, finger of birth's strangled babe, ditch delivered by a drabe. Make the gruel thick and slab. Add thereto a tiger chaudron for the ingredients of our cauldron. Double, toil and trouble. Fire, burn, cauldron bubble.
Cool it with a baboon's blood, then the charm is firm and good.
Oh, well done, I commend your pains, and everyone shall share in the gains. Now about the cauldron sing, live elves and fairies in a ring, enchanting all that you put in.
By the pricking of my thumb, something wicked this way comes. Open locks,
Whoever knocks.
locks.
How old I was, perhaps 10 years old. My mom, my brother, a friend, and I went to the mall to get me some shoes. Afterwards, I insisted on wearing my new red Vans. As we were going down the escalator, my friend whispered something in my ear. Suddenly, I looked down and my shoes were caught in the crack of the escalator. I quietly informed my mother. My mother started screaming, "Somebody help! My baby's foot is caught in the escalator." I was so embarrassed that my cheeks were the color of my new red Vans. My brother started crying because he was scared that it was going to tear my legs into shreds. When my mom stopped screaming, it seemed like everyone just froze. Then someone from the crowd ran and pushed the emergency stop button. The escalator stopped. I was so embarrassed. When we taken my shredded shoe off, my toes had blisters on them. I soon recovered. What did I learn? I learned to never ride an escalator wearing new red Vans. Boy, what a trick.
I'm Ethan Marino, and my monologue is the day I had to give up my dog. The setting for this monologue will be me in my room talking to a friend. When I was about 7, I wanted a dog. So my parents got me this tiny 3-week-old collie. She's one of the cutest pups I'd ever seen, and I love her from the minute I saw her. But We found out later that there was one thing wrong with her. She had a passion for chasing things. The passion grew, and her favorite thing to chase were cars. We lived very close to a highway at the time, and she had a lot of close calls. So we were soon forced to tie her to a tree to prevent her from being killed. She was unhappy. So I decided it would be best if I found somebody else to take care of her. But who? Well, I placed an ad out in the paper, but there was no response. But one morning, my mom woke me up and told me there was a man here to give my puppy a new home. I got dressed as quickly as I could and ran out into the front yard. The man was lifting my dog up into his truck, and as my dad thanked the man, I hugged my dog goodbye. The man got in his car and he drove away. That Saturday morning, around 10 a.m., was the last time I ever saw my puppy dog. I never even knew the man's name.
My name is Monica Joy Starks, and I will be performing My Best Friend. We did so many things together. Once we slept over at her house, we watched the movie Grease. The next day, we went to the record store and we bought the Grease soundtrack. We played it all day, and we even wrote dialogue for in between songs. And we would always fight over who would be Sandy. Another thing we would do was write letters to her parents saying that if they let me sleep over, I would be very good. And we would play tricks on her older sister, telling her lies that wasn't true, and making fun of her. We also had a clubhouse, and we made our own club, we made up rules and everything. And then one day, I had some bad news. I wouldn't be living next door to my best friend anymore. I would be living far away. But I thought at least, I'll be going to the same school. But I soon regretted that. At school, there was another girl who happened to move into my old house. My best friend and the new girl became best friends. They were always together. At school, they would ignore me. I finally realized that I had lost my best friend. And now and then, whenever I hear a song from the Grease soundtrack, I think about her. But not for very long. I have new friends now.
Miranda Long, my first ice cream cone. I remember when I was little, about 2 or 3 years old, I wanted an ice cream cone, my very first one. My mother said, "You'll drip it all over your new white dress." I said I wouldn't. I said I'll be very, very careful. Well, what mother can refuse a little kid some ice cream, especially her very first ice cream cone? Soon, had my very first ice cream cone in my little hands. Chocolate. It was the best thing I had ever tasted. How can anything taste so good? I asked myself. When we finally arrived to where we were going, I don't remember where. I was too busy with my chocolate ice cream. When suddenly I was getting out of the car, and all of a sudden, the wonderful scoop fell on the front of my new white dress. Oh no, I thought to myself. Not only had I lost a delicious scoop, but I ruined the front of my new white dress. I looked up at my mom, and I knew she would be upset. But she just looked at me and smiled. What can I say? Mothers know best.
My name is Cynthia Grayson, and I will be performing the poem I Love. I love gumdrops, roses, and chocolate chip cookies, soft cuddly blankets, and my cat named Snookies. I love rainbows, balloons, and all living things. I love the Christmas spirit for the joy that it brings. I love the world we live in for all of its beautiful sight. I love the life I have, and I try to live it right.
Hi, I'm Tara Charlton, and I'll be reading the monologue, My Sister and I. My sister and I always fight. We fight about who should be the pets or who has to unload the dishwasher. We even fight about what radio station we should listen to in the car. Sometimes, when we fight, my mother will come and fight with us. My sister's going away to college soon. She'll be far away. No more fighting over dishes, pets, radio stations. I'll miss her.
Mariana Dennis, my worst day. This has been the worst day of my life. I mean, really bad. First of all, my alarm didn't go off on time this morning. I overslept by a half an hour. I didn't have enough time to get ready for school because my mom had to leave early for work. When I got to school, all my friends were mad at me because I was in a bad mood. When I went to my history class, we got a major test back. I thought I had studied and I thought I had did a really good job. But oh no, I failed it, and my teacher said he was going to give me a warning slip. The worst of it, when I finally got home, my mom and I got into a really big fight. I forgot what it was all about. Now as I'm about to fall asleep, I can only pray that tomorrow will be another day, a better day.
This is my monologue, The Secret. My locker's dear diary. My locker is across the hall from his. He isn't very tall. He isn't a go-getter. Not someone who waits. He doesn't really expect everything on the plate. I know he likes me as a friend. But is that all? Is that really the end? I smile and I flirt, but he treats me like dirt. When I'm not there, does he really care? What shall I do? What shall I tell him? How would he know? I'm so confused. Any more of this pressure, and I'll be depressed. This must never be heard by anyone. This is a secret I should never tell. This gets out, I'm done. I'm through. Oh God, I wish I really knew what to do.
My name is Morgan Johnson. This is my monologue, Alone. Sometimes I feel alone, like there's no one who understands what I'm going through. I feel different, unimportant, and I wish I knew someone who else just like me. My parents say it's good not to be like everyone else. Morgan Johnson, this is my monologue, The Solution. Have you ever had a problem you just can't solve? Have you ever just had a goal you just can't meet? Have you ever wished you couldn't feel defeat? If you have ever, just take a deep breath and try again.
Hello everybody, my name is Trinity Johnson and I am performing Peach Walls. In my room when I was growing up, all I could remember was the way it was. Peach walls, closet, desk, nightstand, 2 beds, I was always in trouble for something. But I can't remember some of the reasons. After each incident, my parents would give me a long lecture. They would send me to my room and say, "Now, think about what you have done and how you feel about it." Well, I never think. I just sit and look at the peach walls, brown desk, white table. I would look and look until I could look no more. My parents would come to me for my answer, but I couldn't tell them anything, because all I could remember were the peach walls, the peach walls, the peach walls.
My name is Dashanae Goins. I'll be reading a monologue called I Had Long Hair Once, which is about a teenager girl who is a freshman in high school and she's mad because her mother made her cut her hair off. I had long hair once. Mom made me cut it off. I had long hair once. Long and flowing all the way down my back. Blonde rivers flowing, blowing in the wind. Can you see it? No. Mommy cut my hair off. The river started flowing, blowing in the wind. Now I have just a pool. No rivers, no streams, no waves all the way down my back. Just a little ripple reaching at my neck. I had long hair once.
I'll never forget the first time I was attracted to a girl. There was a new girl in the neighborhood. She lived in the big 2-story house on the corner of the block where I lived. She was a blonde with blue eyes. Someone told me she had her own room. She didn't have to share her room because she didn't have any brothers or sisters. In the afternoon, she would sit out on her porch, usually on the porch step, and her mother would sit in a rocker. She would do her homework while her mother would read some kind of paper or magazine. My 2 friends and I played in the tree across the street from where she lived. I wondered, what would happen if I just went up to her and said hello and told her who I was and where I lived? I was so afraid that she would walk into the house. I was so afraid that my friends would see me turned away.
I was so afraid of being rejected and being hurt. I don't know why I wanted to meet her. I only knew I had to meet her to talk to her. We'll play Tarzan and swing on limbs and make wisecracks, kidding around so she can hear us. I know she could hear us because she would smile at me sometimes. I want her to look at me in the worst way.
I'm Jeff Rolando, and this is Going Out on a Limb. So one day, I announced that I was going to jump from limb to limb without using my hands. I tried it alone one day to impress my friends and the girl. I jumped to the first limb, and then to the second. I was really high up in the tree, but then I looked out of the corner of my eye, and I saw the pretty blue-eyed blonde for the first time watching me. I decided to leap to the next limb, but then the bark broke off where I'd placed my foot, and down I went to the ground. My wrist was then caught behind my back, and I fell on it. I started to cry, but then the girl leaped up and ran across the street to where I'd fallen. She asked if I was alright. I tried to stop crying, but I couldn't. I looked up at her and just shook my head. She touched my wrist. I continued to cry as I looked at her.
This is Jameer Duffy, and this is my monologue. She was the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. She said her mother was going to give me help. Later, I was taken to the hospital. I had to put a cast on my wrist. I had broken it. I never tried to impress a girl ever again. I was just too embarrassed. She ended up moving away. We moved into a house that she lived in. I had my own room. I wonder if it was her room. I wonder if she was nice as she was pretty. I often wonder what would happen if I was just walked up and introduced myself.
Hi, my name is Jocelyn, and my monologue is cheerleading. It was around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I was really nervous because it was my first time trying out for cheerleading. As I was standing by the door waiting for the judges to call my number, I was shaking. My hands were trembling and I was very tense. I kept telling myself, don't be nervous, don't be nervous, don't be nervous. And then it happened. The judges called my number. I was so scared. I did my chants and my cheers and waited for everybody else in my group to finish theirs. As I was sitting by myself, I had realized I had done very badly. When everyone had finished, we went out into the hall and waited for the judges to tell us who had made it. 10 minutes passed by, and they had still not decided. When they finally decided, they came out with the poster board with the numbers on it. I looked frantically for mine, but my number wasn't there. My number was nowhere to be found. I kept waiting and waiting to see if there had been a mistake, but my number never changed. I felt awful. I wanted to burst into tears, but I just kept them inside. That week, anytime someone mentioned cheerleading, I just wanted to yell at them. I couldn't focus on my schoolwork all week. That was a terrible, horrible week. The week I didn't make the cheerleading squad. Oh well, there will always be next time.
I know that I'm running out of time. I want it all.
Hi, my name is William Goins, and my monologue title is My First Dance. I went to my first dance with the hopes of dancing every dance with this special girl that I liked. I didn't know if she liked me. For that matter, I didn't even know if she knew I existed. Anyways, I thought she was pretty, and I wanted her to dance only with me. Everyone from school was at the dance. The dance began and I started looking for her. She was over by the punch bowl. I walked over to the table. It was hard to look at her, but I did, and she smiled. She actually smiled. I knew I had made it. I started pouring myself some punch, killing a little time so I could muster up the nerve to ask her to dance with me. But then I thought, what if she didn't want to dance with me? What if she was just being polite when she smiled? What if she smiled at everyone? If she didn't dance with me, then everyone would actually see her turn me down. What would I do then? I looked up to see if she was still smiling, but she wasn't. She was already out on the dance floor, dancing with some other boy. I decided, hey, I would go to her when the music stopped, but I couldn't move. My feet were like cement. So I stood there while the boys danced with her. I got jealous. Finally, I knew I just had to go to her, no matter what happened. Walking across that floor seemed to take forever, like going to China through peanut butter. I was so nervous, I was shaking, like I had some kind of strange affliction. With each heavy step that I took across that floor, it felt like the entire world was watching me. Finally, I arrived, and I could hardly speak. But I asked her. She said yes. And it was the best experience of my entire life. I don't dance with her anymore, though. She's moved away. I still think of her, though. Mostly when I go to dances. You know, I'm not as shy as I once was, but I'll never forget how afraid I was the night of my first dance.
What say you, Mr. Ichabod Crane? Say hello to the new schoolmaster, girls.
Hello, new schoolmaster.
What lovely rustic bells.
What's of that, you say?
He was complimenting us, Farmer Stuyvesant.
And he did it so nicely.
Didn't sound like a compliment to me.
You could learn a lot from the new schoolmaster, Yost. You too, Bones.
Bones?
Name's Abraham Van Brunt, Brom for short. Because my limbs are so strong, everyone calls me Bones.
Rom Bones.
He can lift a cow over his head.
Now why would he want to do that?
Best horseman in these parts.
Best judge of horseflesh.
No one buys a horse without asking Bones' opinion.
If the buyer doesn't, then he's a fool.
Yeah, that is true enough. But I don't forget, if there's mischief in Sleepy Hollow, you can bet Brom Bones is at the bottom of it. The town council feels the same way.
Why do I get blamed for everything?
Because you're really guilty.
That's a good one, Yost.
You'll be paid 4 times a year, as your contract stipulates. As for your victuals, you'll go to a different farm each week.
A different farm each week? Isn't that a bit unusual?
You'll have no complaints about your victual, schoolmaster. Sleepy Hollow sets a good table. Goose swimming in its own gravy. Pigeon pie. Juicy ham.
Savory sausages.
All the buckwheat cakes a man can swallow, well buttered and drowning in syrup.
Ginger cakes and peach pies.
Bowls of cream and milk.
Not to mention preserved plums and peaches and pears.
Did you say goose swimming in its own gravy? Pigeon pie? Savory sausages?
Shortcakes.
Ginger cakes.
Honey cakes.
Ooh.
Catch him, someone! The schoolmaster's gonna faint!
Are you alright, schoolmaster?
There's nothing the matter with him. He's as strong as a scarecrow.
Drop your book. His story of New England witchcraft.
No, my good fellow. History of New England Witchcraft. It is a book in which I most firmly believe. Written by the famous Cotton Mather's. I recommend it to one and all. I can't imagine why I felt faint. I must eat now. Can we stop all this idle chit-chat?
Ichabod began his teaching career in Sleepy Hollow, and although many townspeople became fond of him,
The wiser folks in the town quickly saw his phony demeanor. He touted his knowledge, but was afraid of his own shadow. He tried to woo Katrina, but she and the phantoms of the woods were having none of it, especially on the night of the town dance.
And the full moon.
When it said that the headless horseman rides.
I thank you for a most enjoyable dance, Miss Katrina.
It was my pleasure, Ichabod.
You're a wonderful dancer, schoolmaster, choir master.
I dare say I am. No man is my match when it comes to the minuet, and I'm no lump when it comes to country dances either. I've even concocted a little dance. I call it the grasshopper.
The grasshopper? The grasshopper?
Yes.
I got the idea one day while watching grasshoppers hop about in the schoolyard. A hop here, a hop there. One can learn so much from the grasshopper and the ant.
Oh, please show us. Let us see it. Schoolmaster dance.
Since you insist. Right foot, hop, hop, hop. Left foot, hop, hop, hop. Then you go forwards, hop, hop, hop. And then backwards, hop, hop, hop. That's the basic step. Once the dancer has mastered the basic step, the dancer can move on to more elaborate moves. I wouldn't be surprised if my little dance didn't make Sleepy Hollow famous. Viva the grasshopper, as the Spaniards would say.
It looks easy enough.
What say? Want to give it a try?
Why not?
I think I can do it. Why not?
All right. I'll count out the measure. Ready, dancers?
Ready.
Ready.
Chin up, back straight, right foot, hop, hop, hop. Left foot, hop, hop, hop. Forwards, hop, hop, hop. And then backwards, hop, hop, hop. Don't forget to flap your arms like a jumping grasshopper. That's the secret.
Yeah. It's fun. Hop, 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 hop. Right, back. Hop, hop, hop. Forward. Hop, back.
What kind of dance is that supposed to be?
It's called the grasshopper.
The grasshopper.
Isn't it fun? The schoolmaster created it.
I'm not surprised.
A dancer can't learn it overnight.
That don't surprise me either.
You're late, Bones. Where have you been?
I barely escaped with my life.
Your life?
What are you talking about, Abraham?
Bones has probably been up to some mischiefs. We already heard about it.
If you called the Headless Horseman mischief, then I was up to mischief.
There's going to be a storm. A bad one.
You saw the Headless Horseman?
I not only saw him, I met him. I was riding back from Garfield Heights. I knew I was late for the party, so I nudged Daredevil, and he started to gallop. He could smell the storm coming, and his nostrils went wide. But it wasn't the storm he was smelling, it was the Headless Horseman. There he was right in front of me, huge, misshapen, towering. He offered to race me for a cup of punch.
A cup of punch?
How could he speak without a head?
He had a head all right. It was under his right arm.
I think I'm gonna faint.
I would have won the race too. Daredevil was sure to beat the Goblin Horse. But as we came up to the church bridge, the Hessian bolted and vanished in a flash of light. I'm lucky to be alive.
Come and eat. Everything's been set out. The table is groaning. Come and enjoy.
Better tie up Daredevil.
Alright.
Sure do love food.
Katrina,
What is it, Ichabod?
you didn't believe that story, did you?
Bones likes to play games, but it's a story I've heard many times in Sleepy Hollow.
I have something I need to ask you.
About the acreage on the farm?
I'm not interested in acreage.
What is it then?
How I long to run my fingers through your gold.
Gold?
But your golden hair.
My hair is not golden.
Oh, promise me, Katrina.
Promise you what, Ichabod?
And need you ask? Marry me, Katrina, marry me.
Marry you?
Make me the happiest of mortals.
What are you saying?
Oh, promise me. Marry me, Katrina, marry me.
Get up, Ichabod. You're making a fool of yourself.
I kiss your dainty paw.
Oh!
Katrina, my Katrina, there's no need to be shy.
Your Katrina? Katrina is my Katrina. Understand? Do you understand?
You wait until I tell Katrina.
You'll tell Katrina nothing, because if you do, you'll regret it. You will leave now.
But I haven't eaten yet. There's going to be a suckling pig with an apple in its mouth.
I'll count to 7. 1.
This isn't civilized behavior.
2.
Can't we discuss this like gentlemen?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Ah!
Spare the boot and spoil the schoolmaster.
When the church bell tolls and the thunder rolls and the night is black as pitch, beware, beware, beware. When the owl hoots and the crow roots and the rain is cold and dark, beware, beware, beware. Beware the galloping hooves. Beware the cries in the night. When the headless horseman rides, you'll probably die of fright.
Women. Oh, women. Who could understand their wiles? Could she have been using me to taunt Brown Bones that entire time? Oh, heaven only knows. Certainly not I. Perhaps I spoke up too soon. I was too rash, too bold. I must be more patient.
Ichabod! Ichabod Crane!
Eh? What was that?
Ichabod! Ichabod Crane!
This isn't the graveyard. I must be hearing things. The sooner I'm under my warm quilts, the better. The headless horseman! Ah! Ah! Ah!
This is for you! Catch!